You've got to subjugate nature. You've got to make her your slave. And so we have a very violent way of thinking in a mechanistic way and a reductionist way. Of course, the irony, I think often how, this level of arrogance then finds its answers. So Mr. Bacon died by stuffing snow into a chicken to see if he could preserve the chicken by filling it with snow. Mr. Bacon got influenza and he died, the chicken didn't. So not a very, it's very brutal experimental method, a brute empiricism. And the gentle empiricism that Gandhi talked about and other scientists who really see the whole and see all the relationships. And I love this one. So do not look, since food sustains life, says, do not look down upon Anna. That is the inviolable discipline of the one who knows prana, the breath and life. And I think it's the Taittiriya Upanishad in the Mahabharata, they say that the highest dharma is the right action. And the highest dharma is the growing and giving of good food. And that's why India had this amazing tradition. You come to someone's house, they feed you because they're dharma. For the farmer, the dharma was not doing an agriculture of carelessness. I've worked with all kinds of communities in India, and I remember a particular time I was helping an indigenous community who was fighting a bauxite mine on their sacred mountain, Yamgiri. So I'd gone there to support them and I was having meetings with them. And at a certain point, one of the members just got up and mumbled something, left. And your typical understanding is, something must have happened. Must be an emergency. What he was mumbling, and his colleagues told me, he was saying, now I must go beautify the earth. Farming is beautifying the earth. Farming in a good way, in a non-violent way. So the growing of giving of food is the highest dharma. Not growing food, or growing food badly, or giving people bad food is the highest adharma, the opposite. So we've, of course, messed up with the food system. First, it began with making fake fertilizers because soil fertility is the living process of a living soil. Soil is living, and the life in the soil creates the soil fertility. This planet was a dead planet. But we are a living planet because first the microbes, then the plants, through photosynthesis, could take sunlight and transform it and absorb the carbon dioxide. We were a carbon dioxide-rich planet and depleted in oxygen. 98% CO2. And just this photosynthesis process of the green leaf and microbes took the sunlight, took the CO2, turned it into carbohydrates that many are now calling the molecule of life. And at the same time, give us breath, give us oxygen. No mechanical system can do all this, none. But those carbohydrates the plant produces are then food for the microbes that turn minerals into soil. From the minerals, they bring the nutrients to the plant, they get the energy from the carbohydrates, and then the plant's organic matter is recycled. And before you know it, you're creating soil as a living system by co-creating with living systems. And this then created the conditions where our species could arrive. The oxygen increased, the carbon dioxide decreased, the temperatures, which used to be, how much was it? The temperatures came down to 13 degrees from hundreds of degrees. Came down to a livable temperature for the human species to evolve. But this is also where we should be looking how, what's the Gaia hypothesis? The Gaia hypothesis is the Earth is living, her living biosphere creates the atmosphere and regulates the atmosphere. And that's the reason temperatures came down, carbon dioxide came down. But what are we doing today? Industrial agriculture is a destruction of the biosphere and biodiversity, and the illusion that somehow fossil fuels will replace it. Because all synthetic fertilizers, they're fossil fuel based. The nitrogen fertilizers, 1 kilogram of fertilizer uses 2 liters of diesel, and then it emits nitrous oxide. 90% is wasted, goes into the waters. And the soil organisms cannot live with the salt. So you have desertification. And these externalities, of course, weren't seen. When I did the book on the Green Revolution, on the one hand, a lot of people, started to see these connections. And on the other hand, those who had pushed the Green Revolution started to panic because the narrative was, we feed the world with chemicals. And here in Punjab, the chemicals were ruining the land, killing the water. And our work has shown that, the synthetic fertilizer use then weakens the plant. You use 10 times more water. The plant is just water, absolute feast for pests. You get more pest attacks, so you use more pesticides. Fertilizer use leads to pesticide use. And there's a cancer tree that leaves Punjab called the cancer tree. Its name is the cancer tree because of the heavy pesticide use. And yet, we're still being told, that they keep organizing in a new way. And right now, the way the pesticide industry has organized itself is called the crop life. It has nothing to do with crops and has nothing to do with life. It's basically companies that produce toxic chemicals to kill insects, to kill plants, and human beings. Bhopal was human beings being killed by pesticides. 200,000 farmers die every year because of pesticide poisoning.